Welcome. In this video, we're going to walk through setting up a brand new Eru tenant from scratch, all the way from first login to your first device enrolling successfully. There are 4 phases, and we'll do them in order: foundation, platform setup, blueprints and library, and enrollment. Each phase builds on the last, so the sequence matters. Before we get into Eru, if you're managing corporate Apple devices, Mac, iPhone, iPad, you need an Apple Business account. Here's the thing. Enrolling in Apple Business is free, but Apple has to verify your organization. That process can take several days. So don't wait until you're mid-setup to start it. Kick it off right now before anything else. Go to business.apple.com and request enrollment. You'll need to provide business credentials, typically a DUNS number or equivalent. Apple will review your organization and send you an approval email once you're verified. Once you're in, there's one more thing to sort out before your device has arrived. If you're purchasing hardware directly from Apple or through an authorized reseller, ask your reseller to link your Apple Business account at the point of sale. Devices linked this way are automatically added to your Apple Business device inventory, which makes automated device enrollment seamless when we get to that step. Bottom line, start Apple Business enrollment today. We'll pick it back up in phase 2 once it's approved. Now let's get into Eru. Phase 1 is about setting up who can manage your tenant, how users and devices are identified, and how people sign in. 3 steps: admins, SSO, and directory integration. Start by getting your team in. Click the account menu in the left sidebar, select access, and then click plus administrator in the top right. Fill in their email, first name, last name, then pick a role. Eru has 5 roles: account owner, complete access and can't be removed by any other admins. There's only one of these, and it's whoever owns the account. Administrator, full access, can be removed by other admins. This is your standard IT admin role. Standard, all administrative functions, but no access to the access or organization menus. Help desk, read only on blueprints and library, but can run all device actions. Good for tier 1 support. Auditor, read-only access across the board. Use this for compliance or security teams who need visibility without the need to make changes. Click Save, and Eru sends the invitation. If someone misses it, you'll just click Resend from the Access menu. Start with your core I team, then scope Help Desk and Auditor roles after your policies are locked in. Next, configure Single Sign-On. Go to Access, click the Admin and Authentication tab, and click Plus Authentication Method. Give the connection a display name, something like Okta SSO or Entra ID, then select the provider type and click Create. Eru will walk you through the configuration exchange between Eru and your identity provider. Supported providers include Microsoft Entra ID, native and SAML options; Google Workspace, native and SAML options; Okta, JumpCloud, and OneLogin, SAML-based; and custom SAML for anything else. Passkeys and social login via Google or Microsoft are available by default without any extra configuration. Once configured, click the ellipsis menu next to your new connection and select Allow for Tenant Authentication to make it the active sign-in method for your tenant. Before you disable any authentication method, and this is important, open a private browser window and verify that SSO sign-in actually works end-to-end. If you disable password auth before confirming SSO works, you can lock yourself out and your entire team out of the tenant. Verify first, then disable. And if that happens, you can contact support through email and they can help you get back in. The third foundation step is connecting your user directory. This syncs your users and groups into Eru, which you'll use later for blueprint routing and enrollment authentication. Go to Account menu, Integrations, and look for your directory provider. Eru supports Entra ID, Google Workspace, Okta, and others. The setup pattern is consistent. Authorize the connection in Eru, grant the required scopes in your IDP, and confirm that users appear in Eru after the initial sync. Once this is done, you have a solid foundation. Let's move to platform setup. Phase 2 is about enabling the device platforms you'll manage. We'll focus on Apple here since it's the most involved, but the same menu is where you'd configure Windows and Android if you need those. By this point, your Apple Business account should be verified and ready. If it isn't, stop here and wait for the approval email before continuing with Apple Setup. APNs and ADE both require it. There are 3 Apple integrations to configure in this exact order. First is APNs, Apple Push Notification Service. This is the communication channel between Eru and every single Apple device you manage. Nothing works without it. Click Set up APNs and follow the wizard. It'll take you to the Apple Push Certificates portal to generate and download your certificate. 2 things to make sure you get right here. 1, use a managed Apple account that multiple people on your team can access. Not a personal Apple account, not your own Apple account. If the person who sets this up leaves and the account goes away, your MDM communication breaks for every managed device. Number 2, do not reuse an existing APNs certificate from another device management service. Each device management service needs its own. Create a new one. APNs certificates need to be renewed annually. Eru will send you a reminder email 30 days before expiration, but put it in your own calendar too. If the certificate expires, devices stop receiving management commands. Second is automated device enrollment, which is how corporate devices get enrolled automatically when they're unboxed and powered on for the first time. APNs must be configured first, and your Apple Business account needs to be active. This is the prerequisite that we covered at the top. Click Set up Automated Device Enrollment. The wizard generates a PEM public key file. You'll take that PEM file into Apple Business, create a new server, and upload it there. Apple Business will then give you a service token, a P7 file, which you bring back into Eru to complete that handshake. Back in Apple Business, go to Devices, Management Services, click Connect External Device Management, add Eru, and assign your devices to it. Any devices already in Apple Business inventory can be assigned from here. Don't worry about disrupting devices that are already in use. They don't care about that change right now. This is also where that reseller linkage from the start of the video pays off. Devices purchased through your Apple Business linked reseller will already be in your inventory, ready for you to assign. Third is apps and books, which lets you distribute App Store apps to devices without requiring any Apple accounts from your users. Important caveat, you cannot share an apps and books token across multiple device management servers. If you're running any other device management service alongside Eru or migrating from one to Eru, you need a dedicated token for Eru. In Apple Business, create a separate organizational unit specifically for Eru. Then go to the settings area, generate a content token for that unit, download it, and upload it into Eru to complete the setup. If you also manage Windows or Android devices, head back to the integrations and complete the setup for each platform. For Windows, you'll enable the platform and configure Autopilot if you're using it for automated provisioning. For Android, you'll enable Android Enterprise through a Google account. The blueprint and enrollment concepts we're about to cover apply to all 3 platforms equally. We'll keep our examples Apple focused, but the logic is still the same. Phase 3 is where you define what your devices should actually look like, what apps they have, what security settings are enforced, what configurations are applied. This all happens before a single device enrolls. A blueprint is a container that groups devices and defines what gets deployed to them. Think of it as a policy profile that can hold many apps, configurations, and scripts at once. Click plus add blueprint. You can start from scratch or choose a pre-built template. Give it a clear descriptive name, something like Managed MacBook Engineering or iPad Fleet Field Sales. Then click Create Blueprint. Think through your blueprint structure before creating them. Common approaches include one blueprint per device type. Mac computers, iPhone, iPad devices each get their own. One blueprint per team or role, engineering, finance, sales with different app sets, or a combination, a Mac blueprint scoped by department. Whatever you decide, always create a test blueprint alongside your production ones. You'll validate everything there before it touches real devices. Now, populate your library. Everything that gets deployed to a device lives here. Click plus add library item and you'll see a bunch of different categories. including auto apps, prepackaged apps that Eru hosts and keeps updated automatically. If your browser, password manager, or security agent is in here, use it. You don't have to manage versions. Enrollment configurations. Everything you need to create a great enrollment and onboarding experience. General. You can totally get by without any of these, but these are powerful library items that give you an incredible amount of control, like Mac custom script and Windows custom script. Managed OS. Control how updates and upgrades are enforced on your devices. Profiles. Configure and enforce settings for all platforms, organized in a way that makes sense for solving problems instead of making you wade through long lists of features. Endpoint security. Endpoint detection and response to quarantine detected threats, and vulnerability response to automatically patch any app in our auto app catalog that has a known vulnerability. If you bought the EDR SKU, you also have access to the accessory and storage access library item to restrict how Mac computers can access removable media and other kinds of volumes. As you create items, be consistent with naming. macOS File Vault enforcement is better than File Vault. The platform prefix helps at scale when your library has hundreds of items. I'm going to create an ADE library item that we'll use to control how a Mac is enrolled. Just for testing, I'm not going to require authentication at first, and I'm just going to test with Mac. I'm going to skip screens during Setup Assistant. I like to skip everything except location services and biometrics, and here's a quick way to do that. After you build up more library items, this Install library items during Setup Assistant feature is super helpful. It makes sure that mission-critical items are installed before the user even hits their desktop. And just for testing, I'm going to leave the rest at their defaults and save. With your library built, open a blueprint, click Edit Assignments. This is where you connect library items to devices. In this middle column, you can filter by the kinds of library items you have. App Store apps. Apps from Apple's App Store distributed through your Apps and Books integration. No personal Apple accounts required, no friction for users. In-house apps. Your own internally built apps for iOS and iPadOS, distributed without going through the App Store. By default, this list is sorted by library item type, but I often change this to sort by recently updated so that the things I worked on float to the top. There's my ADE library item. For a simple blueprint where every device gets the same set of items, you can assign everything at once. For more nuanced scenarios, different apps for managers versus individual contributors, different configs for devices in different office locations, use the conditional logic built into the assignment map. You can filter assignments by device type, OS version, user group from your directory, custom tags, and more. Start in your test blueprint. Assign your library items, verify the logic, and confirm it looks right before you touch production. You'll validate it all with the real device in Phase 4. Phase 4 is go time. Your platform is configured, your blueprints are built, your library is stocked. Now let's configure how devices are actually enrolled and land in the right blueprint. Blueprint routing automatically assigns devices to the right blueprint at enrollment without any manual intervention. This is especially valuable at scale and for ADE devices that enroll hands-free. Go to Enrollment, Blueprint Routing. Rules are evaluated top to bottom. The first match wins. You're going to configure if blocks your primary rule. For example, if the device platform is macOS, assign to the MacBook blueprint. If else blocks, additional rules for other conditions. If the user is in the engineering group, assign to the engineering blueprint. An else block, the fallback blueprint for anything that doesn't match a rule above. Always set this, even if it's just a generic catch-all blueprint. Use drag handles to reorder rules. Add labels to blocks to keep the logic readable as it grows. Then save. One important note, blueprint routing rules only run at enrollment. They won't reassign devices after the fact, so the logic only needs to cover your enrollment scenarios. For corporate devices using ADE, go to Enrollment Automated Device Enrollment. Eru automatically filters your device list to awaiting enrollment so you can select your devices and assign them to a blueprint, or let blueprint routing handle the assignment automatically, which is the recommended approach at scale. You can also configure an ADE library item here. This is what controls what your users see during Setup Assistant when they first power on the device, which screens appear, which are skipped, what messaging is shown. It's worth customizing this for a clean, out-of-the-box experience. For BYOD or manually enrolled devices, go to Enrollment, click the Manual Enrollment tab, and confirm it's active. Select the default target blueprint and decide whether to require authentication. If your SSO and directory are configured, which they are, because we did that in phase 1, enabling authentication here ensures only verified user in your directory can enroll devices. You'll share 2 things with your users, the enrollment portal link and the enrollment code. They open the portal, enter the code, authenticate with their corporate credentials, and install the enrollment profile. That's it on their end. Before touching your production fleet, enroll a test device. For ADE, you'll need a real test device, not a virtual machine for this test. Assign a test device in Apple Business, power it on, and watch it move through Setup Assistant and land in your test blueprint. Check your devices list in Eru to confirm it appears and is assigned correctly. For manual enrollment, open the enrollment portal link, authenticate, install the profile, and verify the device appears in the right blueprint. In both cases, confirm that your library items are deploying, apps are installing, configurations are applying, scripts are running. If anything looks off, diagnose it in your test blueprint now before it affects real devices. When the test device looks exactly right, you're ready to roll out to the rest of your fleet. Thanks for watching.